Google upgrading the Pixel 10 or just shifting things around? A major new leak has just revealed the full camera details for all four phones in the upcoming Pixel 10 series. And while there's some exciting news, not everything is an upgrade. So should you be excited or concerned? Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more updates like this one. Now, let's break down what's actually going on with these new Pixel cameras. Let's start with the headline. For the first time ever, the regular Pixel 10 is expected to come with a telephoto lens. That's right. Google is finally adding a third rear camera into the base model. And it's not just any lens, it's the same 11-megapixel Samsung 3J1 sensor that was used in last year's Pixel 9 Pro Fold. So if you've been wanting optical zoom on a regular Pixel, this might sound like a win, but there's more to the story. To make space for that new telephoto lens, Google is reportedly downgrading the main and ultrawide cameras on the base model. Instead of the bigger sensor found in the Pixel 9, the Pixel 10 is said to use the 50-megapixel Samsung GN8 as its primary sensor. The ultrawide will reportedly be the 13-megapixel Sony IMX712, which is the same sensor found in the Pixel 9a. So while you're getting a new zoom camera, the other two sensors are being replaced with lower-end ones. That's where things get a little mixed. Let's quickly go over the leaked camera specs for each model. Pixel 10, main camera, 50-megapixel Samsung GN8 ultrawide camera, 13-megapixel Sony IMX712, telephoto camera, 11-megapixel Samsung 3J1, Pixel 10 Pro and Pixel 10 Pro XL. Main camera, 50-megapixel Samsung GMV, same as last year. Ultrawide camera, 48-megapixel Sony IMX858. Telephoto camera, 48-megapixel Sony IMX858. Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Main camera, 50-megapixel Samsung GN8. Ultrawide and telephoto cameras, unchanged. So what does this all mean for everyday users? Well, if you're planning to get the regular Pixel 10, the Avid Zoom lens is great, but the trade-off could mean lower photo quality in low light or less depth in your shots. Google has always used its software to improve image quality, but there are limits to what software can fix when the hardware isn't on the same level. On the other hand, the Pro models seem to be sticking with what already worked last year. No major hardware changes, but the hope is that the new Tensor G5 chip will improve camera processing and AI features, making photos even better without needing new sensors. Now, some people might look at the Pixel 10 and see it as an upgrade. Others might see it as a mix of upgrades and cost-cutting, especially when you consider that the Pixel 9a uses some of these same sensors. If Google keeps the price of the Pixel 10 at $799 as it did last year, the differences between the Pixel 10 and the cheaper Pixel 9a could feel a bit too small, unless you really care about that telephoto lens. So in the end, it's kind of a balancing act. Google is clearly trying to bring more features to the regular Pixel, but at the same time, it's pulling parts from lower-end models. What if Samsung brings back something that users were happy to see gone? Well, that might just happen. A new leak says Samsung could return to using Exynos chips in the Galaxy S26 series. Yep, after skipping Exynos for the Galaxy S25 lineup, the company might go back to splitting chips based on regions. So why the change? Let's break it down. Before we begin, if you enjoy tech news, leaks, and updates, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it. According to a trusted tipster, Samsung plans to use the Exynos 2600 chip in some Galaxy S26 models next year. This wouldn't be the first time Samsung does this. For many years, they've used Exynos chips in regions like Europe and Asia, while Snapdragon chips were used in the US, Canada, and China. But for the Galaxy S25 series, Samsung skipped that strategy. They used the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 or Snapdragon 8 Elite in all models worldwide. The reason? Samsung couldn't produce enough Exynos 2500 chips in time, so the S25 lineup became Snapdragon only, and a lot of people like that. Now, leaks suggest Samsung is working hard to bring the Exynos back with the Galaxy S26. The Exynos 2600 is expected to be built using a new 2nm process, which will offer better efficiency and performance. But there's a catch. The chip might have limited volume, meaning Samsung may not have enough to power all phones globally. The tipster compares this to the Exynos 990 situation. That chip was used in almost every region for the Galaxy S20 except the US, Canada, and China. So the idea of limited volume doesn't quite line up with that example. A better comparison might be the Galaxy S22 series, where Snapdragon chips were used almost everywhere except Europe. That setup might return with the S26 lineup. There's also a rumor that only the Galaxy S26 Ultra will get the Snapdragon chip in all regions. The regular S26 and S26 Plus may come with Exynos in those countries. But right now, nothing is confirmed. Samsung's decision to mix chips has always been controversial. Starting with the Galaxy S20, people notice real differences between Snapdragon and Exynos models. Snapdragon versions usually perform better, had longer battery life, and handle heat more efficiently. Over time, Samsung has tried to reduce those gaps, but many users are still not fully convinced. Can the new Exynos 2600 match the next-gen Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 successor? That's a big question. Until benchmarks appear, we won't really know. Now, aside from the chip news, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is expected to bring some exciting upgrades. One leak says Samsung might reintroduce variable aperture for the camera, giving more control over lighting. There's also talk of a larger 5500 mAh battery, which would be a major jump. With many brands switching to silicon carbon batteries, Samsung could be moving in the same direction. Still, it's early. The Galaxy S26 lineup is expected to launch in early 2026, possibly in January or February. And as we all know, leaks and plans can change before the official reveal. The Galaxy S25 Edge's incredibly thin design has caught everyone's attention, especially when placed next to the Galaxy S25 Ultra. A recently published video on the YouTube channel S26 has given us a closer look at just how slim this device really is. While Samsung officially revealed the Galaxy S25 Edge earlier this year, no one has been allowed to handle the device yet. However, the video creator managed to get their hands on a dummy unit that looks identical to the final version. One of the most striking details about the Galaxy S25 Edge is its ultra-thin profile, measuring just 5.84 millimeters. When compared side by side with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which has a thickness of 8.2 millimeters, the difference is shocking. Samsung has always been known for pushing the boundaries of smartphone design, but this level of thinness is something that hasn't been seen in mainstream flagship phones for a long time. Seeing these two devices next to each other really emphasizes just how much slimmer the Galaxy S25 Edge is, making it one of the thinnest smartphones ever produced. Despite its official reveal, Samsung has been keeping the Galaxy S25 Edge in a look but don't touch phase. No one outside the company has been allowed to physically interact with it yet, which has only increased anticipation. The big question now is when Samsung will finally let people experience the device firsthand. According to reports, the Galaxy S25 Edge is set to launch next month, with retail availability expected in May. That means the wait isn't too long, but there is a catch. Unlike Samsung's usual global releases, the Galaxy S25 Edge will reportedly have a very limited initial production run. Only around 40,000 units are expected to be available at launch, which means it might not be available in many countries right away. This strategy suggests that Samsung is testing the waters with this new design before committing to a larger production scale. Given its unique form factor, it makes sense for Samsung to gauge demand before making it widely available. One of the biggest concerns with a device this thin is durability. While the design is undoubtedly impressive, questions remain about how well the phone will hold up under everyday use. Ultra-thin smartphones in the past have sometimes suffered from structural weaknesses, so it will be interesting to see how Samsung has addressed these potential issues. Additionally, battery life is another factor to consider. A slimmer device usually means less space for a large battery, which could impact overall performance. However, Samsung's advancements in battery efficiency may help balance this out. For now, all we can do is wait and see how the Galaxy S25 Edge performs when it finally reaches consumers. Samsung has a history of pushing the limits of smartphone technology. This device could be the next step in redefining premium smartphone design. If the demand is strong, Samsung might increase production and expand availability to more markets. Until then, the limited release will make the Galaxy S25 Edge a rare and highly sought-after device. Are you excited about the Galaxy S25 Edge, or do you think the ultra-thin design comes with too many compromises? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.